In the 21st century, a handful of companies have reshaped our world, altering the way we live, work, and connect. Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, Google, Facebook, and Tesla, each a titan in its own right, driving innovation and amassing unprecedented power. From revolutionary products to controversial practices and the challenges they face as they continue to define the future of technology and humanity. Are they innovators or monopolists, visionaries or disruptors? To find out, let us journey through the forces that are shaping our digital age. Despite what people may think, Tesla wasn't actually founded by Elon Musk. In fact, Tesla was founded in 2003 by engineers Martin Eberhard and Marc Tarpenning with a bold mission: to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy through electric vehicles. The company was born out of a desire to prove that electric cars could be faster, more efficient, and more desirable than traditional gas-powered vehicles. Initially focusing on high-performance sports cars, Tesla sought to change the public perception of electric vehicles. In 2004, Elon Musk joined as the largest investor, helping to steer Tesla toward becoming a leader in the electric vehicle industry. From these humble beginnings, Tesla has grown into a revolutionary force, shaping the future of transportation. But to truly understand the story of Tesla, it's important to understand the story of Elon. So let's start from the beginning. Elon Reeve Musk was born on the 28th of June 1971 in Pretoria, South Africa. His father, Errol, was a wealthy, successful South African engineer, and his mother, May Musk, was a Canadian model. Elon was the oldest of 3 children, and he spent all of his childhood with his brother Kimball and his sister Tosca in South Africa. They could be one beautiful, happy family. Everything looked amazing on the surface, but the reality was much different. Elon grew up in a tumultuous household and had a difficult and lonely childhood. His father was abusive towards his mother and denied Elon any help to begin a career in business. He wasn't interested in his children's happiness or success. His parents would divorce when Elon was 10 years old. Elon was different. From the age of 3, he was already showing signs of ingenuity. His mother called him a nerd. In her autobiography published in 2019, A Woman Makes a Plan, she shared some humbled photographs of his childhood and wrote, "When Elon was young, I noticed that he read everything." She realized that he had something special. Elon was bullied at school, and he struggled with having social life, unlike his sibling. He was short and introverted. He liked to read, which didn't make him popular among the other children. He said, "I was this little bookworm kid and probably a bit of a smart aleck, so this is a recipe for disaster." He described these years as lonely and brutal. His only bright escape? Technology. He was so consumed in his daydreams of inventions that his parents had a test done to check his hearing abilities. He soon developed an interest in computers and electronic devices. After finally getting his first computer, he learned to code at only 10 years old. He taught himself programming, after realizing the classes weren't helping because he was ahead of his teachers. He didn't always get good grades, especially in subjects where he couldn't see the point learning them, like learning Afrikaans. Rather, he would spend his time playing video games, reading books, or coding. But for the subjects that were important to him, such as physics and computers, he would get the highest grade. To this day, he still uses reading to become an expert in a field that interests him. Even comic books would eventually inspire him to push humanity forward, as the stories in them were always about saving the world. Elon quickly figured out that if he could write and sell a better software, then he could buy better computers. So, he created his first piece of space gaming software called Blaster. He sold it to a magazine for $500. At 12 years old, he had sold his first commercial program. In his college days, he would sell computers part out of his dorm room to earn some extra cash. At this point, he had no plan of becoming a billionaire. But it seems that he was born with a creative superpower. Not afraid of experimenting and figuring things out, he was already thinking like an entrepreneur at a very young age, and was born to innovate and create. His childhood was tough, but it gave him an important asset: the ability to adapt and overcome the most difficult challenges. In June 1989, the second part of his life began. At 17, and against his father's wishes, he decided to embark on a plane to Canada, leaving South Africa and his childhood behind forever. He had in mind the American dream. Elon remembered thinking that America is where great things are possible, more than in any other country in the world. He didn't have a concrete plan, but he knew that staying in his home country wouldn't get him where he wanted to go. Growing up during apartheid, he knew he had to take a decision, and joining the mandatory service in the army was out of the question. He described the apartheid as surreal, and he didn't believe in the government. After arriving in Canada, he first went to Queen's University in Ontario, where he met his first wife, Justine Wilson. They got married in 2000 and would have 5 children. He then moved to the US to attend the University of Pennsylvania in Philadelphia, where he graduated with BA degrees in economics and physics in 1997. He was 24 when he moved to the Bay Area, California, to pursue a degree in energy physics at Stanford, but he dropped out after only 2 days and went on to bigger things. Musk is not the first big name in Silicon Valley to have dropped out of college and gone on to find success. Apple co-founder Steve Jobs and 2 of the world's richest men, Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg, all dropped out of school to start their own company. Since it was the dawn of the internet, Musk wanted to work on new technology, and he decided to move to Silicon Valley in California, the promised land for any entrepreneur in the tech world. That is where he thought he would thrive the most. It was soon revealed that Musk was a problem solver. By the time he had moved to Silicon Valley, he had a grand vision: ensuring the future of humanity. But first, he knew that he wanted to make useful things happen on the internet. In 1995, he created his first company, Zip2, with his brother Kimball, which was an online version of the Yellow Pages. However, he had no idea how difficult the first years would end up being. Having moved from South Africa and having huge student college debt, Musk was so poor that he was unable to afford both a home and an office for his company. He ended up having to sleep on the couch of his small office space and showering at a local gym. The first few months were a lot of excitement, but after several months, it started to get really difficult. Reality was kicking in. With only just one computer, he was working 7 days a week, running the website during the day and coding at night. He has declared that in order to success, you have to have a high pain threshold. Building a company from scratch is painful. Eventually, his company took off and grew. In February 1999, tech company Compaq acquired Zip2 for $307 million in cash and $34 million in stock options. Musk was just 28 years old when he joined the rank of Silicon Valley millionaires. He had just gone from a broke man sleeping on his office couch to a multi-millionaire overnight. But he wanted more. He wanted to make a bigger impact. How about transforming the banking industry? After selling Zip2, his confidence had grown, and he was ready for a new challenge. In 1999, only a month after selling Zip2, Elon and Kimball used the money from their sale to found X.com, now known as the incredibly popular PayPal. Money transactions used to be very slow. Musk noticed that there was an opportunity to make a real profound change to the financial world. He invented PayPal to make money transfer and payments easier without having to deal with cash. In the beginning, the company was small and unknown, but Musk was ahead of his time. Thanks to his experience, his second business was easier than the first. It grew fast, and by the end of year 2, it exploded with 1 million customers. In 2002, eBay purchased PayPal for $1.5 billion. After selling PayPal, Elon Musk and his wife Justin moved from Silicon Valley down to Los Angeles to be closer to the space industry, the next adventure that he wanted to tackle after PayPal. In 2002, he founded the private interstellar travel company, SpaceX, with the intention of reigniting the dream of Apollo and building spacecraft for commercial space travel. His goal was to improve the technology of space transportation by making cheaper and reusable rockets. Though space industry experts believed reusable rockets were infeasible,
on another heavenly body, which would be the kind of the moon base, and then and then getting people to Mars and beyond, and it's sort of like the continuance of the dream of Apollo that I think people are really looking for.
SpaceX would be established by 2008, but not everyone was a fan of this idea of his. Even moonwalkers and American heroes Neil Armstrong and Gene Cernan criticized Musk's plans. He said in an emotional interview that it was painful to hear that.
I was very sad to see that, because those guys are, those guys are heroes of mine, so it's really tough. I wish they would come and visit and see the hardware that we're doing here. And I think that would change their mind.
They inspired you to do this, didn't they?
Yes.
And to see them casting stones in your direction.
It's difficult.
Back in the 90s, the original reason Musk moved to Silicon Valley in the first place was to work on electric cars. At the time, he decided that it would be better to become part of the internet as it was booming. But his dream of building electric cars stayed in the back of his mind all these years. He recalled in an interview being passionate about it very earlier on at college.
I actually met a woman I dated briefly in college, who now works at Scientific American as a writer, and she related the anecdote that we went on a date. All I was talking about was electric cars. That was not a winning conversation.
So it was a bit of a monologue, was it?
Yeah, she said she said the first question I asked her was, "Do you ever think about electric cars?" She said, "No, she never does."
Musk is not only a tech entrepreneur. he is also a strong believer in the future of renewable energy. And he sees it as a key factor in humanity's future. Having always been fascinated by rockets and fast cars, Musk wanted to find a way to reduce global warming and end the destructive use of fossil fuels.
We do have significant danger with fracking technology, which is, I think, really still at an early stage. Because I think fracking probably increases the accessible oil and gas in the world by perhaps a factor of 10. I mean, we don't really know what the full extent of it is, but it's probably something like an order of magnitude, which means the potential harm to the climate is really much greater than it was before. And we can't rely on scarcity to drive the price of oil and gas high and have that be an adequate forcing function to move electric. So we have to figure out how to make electric cars themselves compelling without that economic forcing function of high gas prices.
2 years after founding SpaceX, 2004 was the year he got involved in a company that he believed would change the course of humanity and build a more sustainable future. A company with revolutionary technology, dedicated to the environment, to the best customer experience, to success. The incredibly popular Tesla Motors, named after the electrical inventor pioneer Nikola Tesla. Tesla's plan was to produce a car that everyone would want. Affordable, environmentally friendly, and fast. Although Musk didn't start this company, it was actually started by two less-known engineers who simply had a vision for transport using energy that was better for the environment. In April 2004, he helped them launch Tesla with $6.5 million of his own money and was appointed as chairman of the company.
There's a certain probability that is irreducible that something may happen to Earth. Despite our best intentions, despite everything we try to do, there's a probability at a certain point that either external force or some internal unforced error causes civilization to be destroyed.
In 2006, at 32, and in his continuing effort to advance sustainable energy, he helped his cousins Lyndon and Peter Rive start Solar City, a company that develops and sells solar panels and solar roof tiles. Owned by Tesla, Solar City is now the largest provider of solar service in the US. For him, the sun is an indefinitely plentiful source of energy, which he believes could easily power and benefit the entire world. A big part of this mission is how he plans to power the planet. And it can even work in the UK, despite the cloudy British weather.
You still get probably 80 to 90% of the energy coming through the clouds. It's just that you don't have that bright point source of a sun. And a way to appreciate this perhaps is to look at the fact that plants are essentially a solar-powered chemical reaction. And the UK is a very green country.
In 2008, Tesla released the first Tesla Roadster, a sports car capable of accelerating from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 3.7 seconds, paving the way for its first affordable electric car, the Model 3. But Musk had underestimated the production cost of such high-end cars.
Our goal is to get to cars that everyone can afford as soon as possible, but any technology has to go through a learning curve and has to go through economies of scale and that kind of thing. So for us, being a little startup, we had to start off with a car that was in low production and necessarily expensive. And of course, it has only the first version of technology.
Tesla have only sold 1,300 Roadsters, so critics have argued that as such a small company, they'll never have the scale to revolutionize the automobile industry. But they have sold their battery technology to Daimler, who will build it into an electric smart car. And they hope that the Roadster is a convincing enough replica of a regular car that the public might just believe that the future really is electric.
I think all transport, with the exception of rockets, will go fully electric. So that's why, I see the value of Tesla as an accelerant, as a catalyst in that transition.
Just before Christmas in 2008, Tesla was 2 days away from bankruptcy. Both Tesla and SpaceX had about 10% chances of surviving. The bank funding their leases also pulled out of the deal. Musk was in the fight of his life. This year was also the year his marriage with Justine ended. He was going through a very difficult period, after having put on the line everything he owned without any guarantee that it would make a difference. However, as Tesla was on the verge of bankruptcy, Musk saved the company in its darkest hour with an act of heroism. Fighting for it to the end and risking everything, he invested all that he had left from the sale of PayPal into Tesla. In September of that year, Musk was finally successful with the Falcon 9 rocket launch, the last launch that they had money for. And a few days before Christmas, a miracle happened. NASA called and awarded SpaceX with a $1.6 billion contract to supply the International Space Station using the Falcon 1 rocket.
This human spaceflight is the reason that SpaceX was created, and we're incredibly honored to partner with NASA and to make this happen.
In 2010, he took Tesla public, and his fortune skyrocketed. Not everyone was as upbeat about the company's future. In fact, it was voted by Wall Street as the least likely to succeed. But investors ignored the skeptics. Even Musk started Tesla and SpaceX in mind that the most likely outcome was failure. But he was willing to take the risk.
Well, the reason that I'm doing it, and certainly a lot of people at Tesla are doing it, is because we think it actually is going to make a difference to the world if we transition to sustainable transport sooner rather than later. We're not doing this because we thought it was like a way to get rich or anything. Like I said, I thought maybe 10% chance of success at the beginning. I thought I would just lose all my money. And almost did. So it's not like it was, came very close to losing everything.
Tesla continues to thrive and grow, and it now has more than 12,000 superchargers across North America, Europe, and Asia. By promoting clean driving and showing the world that electric cars are in fact better than gasoline, Musk is about to trigger an electric transport revolution.
By whoever it is to create electric vehicles. It's quite hard to do, but I think companies like Apple will probably make a compelling electric car. It seems like the obvious thing to do.
PayPal, SpaceX, Tesla, Solar City, they all have had an important impact on the world. We learned from Tesla and Elon Musk that even heroes go through tough times to get where they are today. It all can start with one individual and their dreams and ambition, with someone who wanted to make the world a better place. It can all start with a small step. It seems that for Elon Musk, not even the sky is the limit. There is no limits.